Hello guys. This is going to be the first video of our complete intro to HTML for beginners. This video lectures is part of our NSS course. Basically, before going to the coding part and how to start coding and how start creating website, we'll be looking at some intro section like how the internet work, what is an internet, and what is the difference between front end and back end, and also we'll be setting up some developer tools for our coding part. Okay, so we'll be needing, okay, I will be uploading some in another video like how to install the required apps for web development and all those stuff. So in this video we'll be looking at a very high overview of how the internet work, and I mean very high level. We could easily spend, I mean, there are graduate level programs just to study networking, internet, and all those type of stuff. To be honest, it's a very complicated topic, especially when we get down to the lower level, but we are just going to ignore that and appreciate the miracle that internet, and we will just chat about it at a high level. So the obvious question here is, what is it, like what is the internet? So internet can be seen as, or can be said as a global network of networks. Okay, it's a global network of networks, or in simple terms, it's just a bunch of connected devices. So by devices, I mean like all sorts of things these days: desktop machines, laptops, tablets, mobile devices. But then there's also, fancy refrigerators that are internet enabled, wristwatches, all those kind of stuff. So there are billions of devices across the globe. So how do they all communicate? How do they share the data? How are these devices part of the network? So we'll be looking at all these questions. It's a complicated question, but why don't we start with some simpler example? Okay, what if there are two computers? I have my computer at my home, and I am sitting at my home, and my friend is having his computer, and he's at his home. Okay, we both have computers, and we are too lazy to speak normally by using our mouse and talking. So we decide, what we should do. Okay, what we should do. So we decided to connect our computers using a physical cable, as you can see in the slide. And now I can communicate to my friend through this physical cable, right? Okay, now this is a very silly example. Now let's scale this up a bit. Now imagine I have a raging party, and 7 to 8 people come over, and we need to communicate with each other using our computers. So how do it work? From the previous example, you can guess that each one has to connect with all the other computer using a physical cable, right? So as you can see in the picture, it is already creating a complete mess. Each person having to connect with the individual other computers. It is already creating a large mess. So it is like kind of difficult, right? So what we are going to, but the internet makes so this idea obviously won't work, right? I have like six computers, and I have to connect each computers to five other communicate with each other. Okay, even if it works with the six other computers, like what if we have 100 computers? It is like virtually impossible, right? So this idea obviously does not work. But thankfully the internet uses something called routing, where there are physical devices. There are other machines who have the job of connecting my information or my data to something else. To visualize it easily, you can imagine it as like the old telephone network, like where we used to dial, I think, some operator, and this operator will connect to some person we want to speak with, and yeah, he'll patch you through, like that. It's the same principle we are using here, but just to multiply it by a lot exponentially. So the way that individual machines are identified is through something called IP addresses. So the obvious question here is, like, how are these devices connected to this router identified? How are each computers or devices identified? It is through IP addresses. So IP address is like what fingerprint is for each human being. It is like a unique set of numbers given for each computer which is connected to a network. Okay, we can easily locate which computer if you know the IP address. Okay, so it is like can be seen as an address of a computer, like it will be unique for each computers. Okay, and you probably might have heard about the term internet protocol, but we are not going to that at this point. Yeah, now this is a very small network here, but the internet in reality is a network of networks. Okay, so as you can see here, like in the previous slide, it's just a small network here. So the internet, as we seen in the second slide, it is a network of networks. So you can imagine how big it is. Like there are like there aren't great illustrations of this online, but I will show you a few. Like you can look at this illustration I will be showing here. So this is some like 15 years ago some person like tried to map all the internet connections across the globe, and remember, this is just a teeny tiny bit of portion of an internet. Okay, this is a very small portion of internet. It is not by any means the complete illustration showing how the internet is connected, and all the, just a small, yeah, a small portion of the entire internet. And as you can see in the small starburst, these are like individual networks. These networks combine to form the larger network. So yeah, so at this point we might be thinking how our data, like each computer's data are sent over this through this network. So obviously it makes it way through our cables. So right now I am having an Airtel Wi-Fi here. So this network is yeah, Airtel, this cable is coming from some Airtel server to my internet router, and this router will be sending the data through these cables to the Airtel servers, and these Airtel servers will be going all around the world, and actually there is something called internet sea underworld cables which go under the sea. Wait, I will show you one illustration regarding that. So yeah, this is a set of network of cables which are buried under the sea. Actually, yeah, many people might not be knowing about this. Actually, these cables, as you can see, they are connected all over the world. So these cables are buried deep under the sea, and these will be going to different continents like this. So yeah, so this is how this our data is sent over the different parts of the world. Now our data can be seen as a quite as a flashlight. Okay, a flashlight turned on and off, but it's electrons going down this cable. Actually it is like electrons which are sending through this data. Like we won't be going too much deep into it. Like yeah, so long story short, we don't have much to care about it at all. But to summarize, the internet is a global network of network, just tons and tons of different devices, and that are able to communicate in the internet. Really infrastructure that makes it all possible. It is the machines, the different computers and devices, the cables, the undersea cables, the fibers, optic fiber cables, municipal networks, the home Wi-Fi network, everything. That's all. These are connected to form this massive web. And yeah, so as you can see, the internet is just an infrastructure that carries things like email, the web, file sharing, online gaming, streaming services, websites, and all those kind of stuff. So to visualize easily, I can show you this illustration. Like you can see a set of network of roads connected like this. So this is like a, yeah, I know it's a silly example, but still you can visualize how this is a an analogy. Like you can connect this with the internet, how all these things are connected. So yeah, so that's it. Like we will see about more things in the next video.